Welcome to Atlanta Community Profiles, a show about living in Atlanta. Atlanta Community Profiles is hosted by Lou Whelan, who will talk to experts who know this ever-changing city and its real estate industry. We'll talk to mayors, community leaders, and commercial and residential real estate experts. And now, here's Lou Whelan with this week's Atlanta Community Profiles.
Hello there, and welcome to our show. My name is Lou Whelan. I publish the official relocation magazines on Atlanta that are distributed by the First Multiple Listing Service of Atlanta. They are available in most all of the real estate brokerage firms and chambers of commerce at no charge. They're also on my website, atlantacommunityprofiles.com, along with a great deal of other information about our great city. And I'm also a realtor with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Georgia Properties, focusing on commercial and residential property. If I can help you, my website is louwhelan.com. And the real estate market is pretty strong this year. The prices are up 7%, actually, year over year. And so basically sales are up of only 2%. And we are already forecasting a pretty strong year again next year. From what I gather from the top economists I've talked to and listened to, we do not expect any moderation in the upward pattern of real estate prices and sales throughout next year. And so that's my forecast, and got that from pretty good sources. And every week we interview community leaders, and Alan Hallman is our guest today, and he is the mayor of the great city of Hateville, Georgia, right down by the airport. Great to have you back, Alan. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show and hear about your city. It's kind of the gateway to the Southern Crescent, in a way.
Yes.
Even though it's kind of a smaller city with 7,000 people and only 2.5 square miles, you serve as really the gateway to the Southern Crescent.
That's correct.
So, great city, and you, let's see, you are in your fourth term as mayor.
I'm in the third year of my fourth term, yes, sir.
And you born and raised in Hapeville, right?
Yes, sir. I'm born there 56 years ago.
56 years, you're still pretty young, Alan. And graduated from Hapeville High School in 1980. And have quite a bit of experience. You've in leadership. Let's see, you're on the Hapeville City Council since 1998, and became the mayor in 2006. You recently completed the Carl Vinson Institute Municipal Leadership Training course, and a bunch of other certificate of achievement from the Georgia Municipal Association. He was named in 2015 as the Outstanding Georgia Citizen by none other than Governor-elect Brian Kemp. So currently you're serving on the staff of Paris Relations Committee at Hateville United Methodist Church, and you're past president of Hateville Exchange Club. And you have your own little business, too, Crown Security Systems. I don't know how little it is. It's probably pretty big, actually. But you are the head of your CEO. Tell us a little bit about that business.
I'm the founder and the co-owner of Crown Security Systems. We're a locally owned security systems and fire alarm systems company based out of Fayetteville, serving just under 3,000 clients.
Okay. And is it commercial and residential?
Commercial and residential, yes,
both,
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And what's your website for that?
www.getcrown.com.
Okay, good. Well, we're pleased to have you on the show and talk about your great city. It's, as we mentioned, it's just under 7,000 people and 2.5 square miles. You're 3 miles south of downtown Atlanta, and you're right by the airport. And you're the headquarters for Delta Airlines, Korean Air Cargo, of course, Porsche, and their $100 million headquarters, which is, we're going to talk a lot about that today. Also home to the original Chick-fil-A Dwarf House. You've got a new Holiday Inn coming on board.
Holiday Inn Express coming on board, and the Solis Hotel, just adjacent to Porsche, has been open 8 or 9 months now.
So you have people who have a 5-star pocketbook for the Solis Hotel
Absolutely.
or Holiday Inn Express is, I think, like a 3-star, right?
Absolutely.
So you have the full range of prices available.
It's a good mix around the
accommodation.
airport. It's nice to have the Solis is what they call European 4-star, and it's been a great addition to the community.
They have about 241 rooms, I gather.
That's correct. Great rooftop dining and bar area where you can order light food and overlook the Porsche track and the airport. So it's an awesome view.
And basically, you're an opportunity zone. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's a state designation for opportunity zone, whereby for each new job that is created by an industry, they receive, I believe it's a $3,500 tax credit directly from the state off of their withholding taxes, their state payroll taxes.
And you're the only city in the state, I think, that's designated a Main Street city.
No, there's several Main Street cities.
Oh, there are?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, what does that mean anyway?
It's a national brand, if you will, for cities that through the state Main Street program, there's certain guidelines that we have to meet to be a Main Street city, and we've been one well over a decade now.
So you have, is that like a historic landmark type thing?
It's similar to that. It basically has to do with the state Main Street program, and they have guidelines and parameters for what constitutes a Main Street city, and so we have to maintain our designation for that. It gives you opportunities for grant funding and things like that by having that Main Street designation.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you have a lot of historical landmarks in
Yes,
your
we do.
city, including the Christ Church and the Carriage House and the Hoyt Smith Conference Center, quite a few.
Yes, we have. We do have the historic Christ Church, which is the oldest standing structure in Hateville, that is used for a venue for various. Right now, the Academy Theater is using it while their space is being renovated, and we also use it to host city events, and we rent it out for weddings and other events as well.
And tell us a little bit about your public arts program. I know that last time we were on, we talked about that. And
Hateville has become a destination for the arts, if you will, and we just had an art crawl about a week ago, I believe, and it's just become known in the metropolitan Atlanta area as an up and coming arts district. We lately have had a major focus on murals on buildings, and that has created quite a buzz in the art community to bring people in. I mentioned the Academy Theater earlier. They're a performing arts arm that the city supports. And we had a building that we had purchased for them a few years back, and that building, during a renovation, the roof collapsed. And so it took with insurance and legal situations and everything, it took 18 months or so for that project to finally get back off the ground again. So we've just recently begun a $2 million renovation of that building downtown, and that will help shore up our performing arts and shore up the downtown, really, because that's kind of a missing piece of the puzzle in our downtown, was having that performance venue completed.
what kind of performances do they offer there?
The Academy Theater offers various plays. They usually have something going about 8 months out of the year, scattered throughout the year.
Do they local artists or local performers?
Yes,
mostly?
some local performers. They do bring some in from Broadway on occasion, but mostly local.
Musicals as well? Or
Mostly
concerts?
performing arts, not so much musical based, but Broadway type plays and whatnot.
Okay, good. You have a performing arts center,
It is that's what we're renovating right now, is the Performing Arts Center.
and that'll be their home.
That will be their home. That's correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. And who came up with the idea of butterflies? Anyway, what's all that about?
That was something the previous council, about 2-3 councils ago, came up with as a concept for kind of launching the arts in Hateville, was to create the butterflies as a signature piece. And that's been very successful for us.
I was just wondering if it had anything to do with Sandy Springs with the turtles and maybe you
similar. It was a similar concept. We used the butterfly as a taking off kind of thing. Things are taking off in Hateville.
Oh, I see. Good. I hope Sandy Springs doesn't get the wrong idea with the turtles from that. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back. I'm Lou Wheeler, and we're sitting here with Alan Hallman, who's the mayor of the great city of Hapeville, Georgia, and it's just a few miles south of the airport, a few miles south of town, and adjacent to the airport. And if you missed any of the show, it's on my website, AtlantaCommunityProfiles.com. And so, Alan, we talked a little bit about some of the trying to do a little profile in the previous segment of your city. One thing we would like to talk about is the real estate values, residential, and it has been steadily going up. Basically, 5 years ago, the median sales price of residential real estate for attached and detached together, median price was $44,250. That has more than doubled now to $110,000. This has been as high as $283,000 in last month. Actually, it was one of the high months. You did have another high back in March of this year of 252 and 270. So fluctuations in price has, for medians at least, has been not unusual for Hapeville. I wonder why that is. It seems like a dramatic.
It's an interesting dynamic. Hateville's, again, being a very small town, we don't have opportunities for large redevelopment, so we have a lot of infill redevelopment. And we don't have a lot of new housing stock, so when the new housing stock comes available, it sells very quickly and usually sells for a premium dollar. And I think that has a lot to do with our location and the fact that we are becoming known for our walkability. We're becoming known for our proximity to the airport. And not just the airport, but we're adjacent to Interstate 75 and Interstate 85. And it's just a beautiful location for people that might work downtown. And people are, I think, moving in closer to town to help alleviate the burden of an hour-long commute every day. And I think Hateville's a perfect location for that.
Yeah, I know. That's an hour commute is not unusual.
No, not at all.
In Atlanta, an hour and a half even is
right.
Now, if you had bought a house in April of 2014, median price of $45,000, it would have been worth $252,000 in 2018. So on average, median wise, so that'd be what almost four times the value. So, five times the
from a tax perspective, we're very glad to see those values going up. Hateville suffered a dramatic decrease in digest value during the economic downturn, and we're just now crawling back out of that, as you can tell by your graph there. And we're glad to see that because us being such a small city, tax revenue is very important to us, and having our properties valued from a tax standpoint, having those values increase is obviously beneficial to the treasury of the city as well.
Well, I'm surprised to hear you say that, Alan, because you've got some huge companies over there. I'm not really going to get a lot of sympathy from you because you have Porsche, you have Delta, you have, all the other companies over there.
Well, the thing you got to remember about Porsche Cars North America is while they are adjacent to Hateville, they're actually in the city limits of Atlanta. So we don't benefit from the tax value of their building.
Oh, you don't?
No, we don't.
So what about Porsche? I mean, and the new 5-star restaurant. The Solis
Hotel, yes, we do. we do benefit from that. So that's been a big plus for us.
So you have what I read in the Atlanta Business Chronicle 2 years ago, the $100 million project that was coming, that was including that and some another development, multi-use development by the airport and within your city limits.
Right.
What is the status of that?
That project is in flux, and I don't know exactly how it's going to land, but we are in regular communications with the principals of the landholders, and we're confident that something will be moving on that project soon.
So how is the commercial real estate market over there? I didn't check on any kind of numbers like residential for commercial, but
the commercial has not had near the fluctuation in values that the residential's had. So I think Porsche and the Solis Hotel and others kind of set the bar pretty high when they acquired their property at the $600,000 and $700,000 an acre range. So the commercial values have remained pretty strong over the last 5 years.
So $600,000 or $700,000 per acre.
Per acre is what Porsche paid for that site.
And that was 3 years ago.
It's been longer than that.
4 or 5 years.
It was 4 or 5 years ago.
What is the price now? Anyway, is it still around that?
It depends upon the part of town that you're in. So it's up.
It's still pretty reasonable.
It is.
I know in Roswell, we're getting like $2 million an acre right in downtown.
Yeah, we're not quite there yet.
But I mean, you have a lot of value there. I mean,
We
close
do.
to the town, close to the airport.
We're a small town with a big airport,
Yeah.
so we like to take advantage of that.
So I mean, it seems like a great buy for if you're an investor or commercial developer, if you can find it. Do you have any available land?
There's not a whole lot of large parcels available. Again, there's infill, and then some of the parcels. Porsche, when they acquired their site, they acquired 30 acres total, in addition to the land that they acquired for their headquarters site. So they've still got about 26 or 27 acres of that land available.
What are they doing with that?
There's been various discussions about the potential of a track expansion, but again, those are fluid discussions. So I don't know exactly how that's going to shake down.
What is the retail climate like over there in terms of retail, restaurant, so forth?
We've been very successful with restaurants downtown. We had a restaurant open, I think it's been 5 years ago now, called Volare, which is downtown, and it's what I would call a fine dining restaurant, and it has done remarkably well. About a year ago, the Corner Tavern opened up, which is a restaurant that came from East Point, and they have done very well as well. So Hateville has proven that with our location, especially our daytime population, can really benefit restaurants from a lunch standpoint. But we've also proven that by having a focus on the arts and having performing arts and other artistic events, that people are coming into town in the evenings and staying and dining. So we've been very pleased with the success of the restaurants downtown.
Do you have a big change in the daytime population from the nighttime?
Oh yeah, the daytime population within a mile and a half or so of us is 30,000 plus people because of the airport workers.
Okay, so interesting.
Yes.
Where are those people going to? Do you know? Do they mostly on the south side or north?
All around. I don't know exactly where they all live, but
a lot better commutes going south, right? Than
the commute going south is much better than going north. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. So, are you looking for any kind of industry in particular to attract, or small business? Or
small business is really our focus, just because of Hateville doesn't have a large amount of undeveloped commercial land for like warehouses or anything like that. So. That's why it's important for us to partner with like the Aerotropolis movement, having to do with development around the airport, Connect South Fulton, and other regional collaborations, because we can work with our brothers and sisters that may have more room for bigger industry. Hateville's such a small town with such a small footprint that we're very limited as to what kind of industry we have room for.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back. I'm sitting here with Alan Hallman, the mayor of the great city of Hapeville. And if you missed any of the show, it's on my website, AtlantaCommunityProfiles.com. And we're talking about an interesting and pretty unique community in that it's pretty small in population, and at least in nighttime population, not in daytime population. But it exerts a lot of influence and well-regarded and highly respected, and 2.5 miles and 7,000 nighttime population.
Yeah, roughly 7,000, about 6,800.
And then daytime population about 10 times that.
30 plus thousand, yes.
Oh, so 30,000.
30 plus thousand in the daytime population.
So almost 5 times
Yes.
the population of the daytime.
Yes, sir.
And, we were talking about commercial real estate, and there's a lot of opportunity on the south side, I believe. And in fact, I believe it's the new frontier for Atlanta in terms of real estate, because the north side is pretty full.
That's correct.
And there's the only thing that's really reasonably priced, almost, you could say. I mean, what is reasonably priced? I mean, but, in some parts of Roswell, it's $2 million an acre, and you're talking about 600,000 or 700,000 an acre.
Right.
So basically, it's a very good bargain. What kind of companies are shopping over there for real estate? Do you get a lot of shoppers looking at businesses?
What the businesses that we attract are typically businesses that are related to the airport. We'll have customs brokers, companies that handle maintenance needs for the airline industry. I was at an event a couple of weeks ago at a company that does records maintenance they maintain the records and all the manuals and everything for the various airplanes for various airlines. So with our proximity to the airport, anything that is airport or transportation related is a big attraction for people.
But logistics, not so much, because of the lack of space.
The footprint. Yeah, we just don't have the footprint. Now, we do just outside of our borders in Mountain View, in unincorporated Clayton County. There are some logistics facilities around there, some around the post office area, Southside Industrial Park, and things like that, where there are logistics operations very, very close to us. Mm-hmm. But we just don't have the large footprint of land needed for 600,000 or 700,000 square foot warehouse facility, and we don't think that's the highest and best use for the land that we do have available.
The new city of South Fulton is going to annex the Fulton Industrial Boulevard over there.
That's what I've heard.
And what about you? Do you have any plans to annex any of the adjoining areas?
We're pretty well landlocked. The only areas we have to the south of us, of course, we have the airport. To the north of us, we have the city of Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So we don't have much that we can annex without going into other jurisdictions, and that's not easily accomplished.
Mm-hmm. So, but basically, you have lived there all of your life, and what kind of changes have you seen in that city?
I've seen Hateville go from a sleepy little residential town to a very vibrant community. And that I can parallel that growth to what's happened at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. Mm-hmm. With aviation at the airport actually having started in Hateville, and the airport as it sits today comprises about half of what our footprint used to be. The northernmost runways and cargo area used to be Hateville residents. So the city of Hateville has, in some ways, suffered with the expansion of the airport, but in other ways we've prospered with the expansion of the airport.
They're not looking to annex any part of you.
No. They bought, years back when Ford Motor Company sold their site, they had a 123-acre site that they sold to Jacoby Development. The city of Atlanta did acquire 52 acres of that site, 30 of which was in what they call the runway protection zone, which couldn't be developed anyway. Mm-hmm. So they acquired that for just to protect that area at the foot of the runway. So, mm-hmm. But they bought it from a private individual. They just can't annex it.
Mm-hmm. So how did we only have 1 minute? How did Hapeville get its name anyway?
Samuel Hape was our founder, and he was in the dental business.
Dentists, I know. That's why I know they charge a lot. That's unbelievable. So what the Hapeville? When was it
Samuel Hape,
incorporated?
1891.
1891. So you're one of the first cities incorporated in the metro area.
Yeah, we were. We celebrated 125 years last year.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back. We're talking with the mayor of the great city of Hateville, and just I hate to mention this because I am a realtor, because I don't want to let the secret out. But the prices in your city, Mayor, have grown tremendously, maybe more than any other city in the metro area. In some cases, as much as 5 times the price 5 years ago. 4 to 5 times, 400 to 500%. And I don't know. I think your prices per acre for commercial property is extremely good, even though there's not much of it. You
Right.
Still, whatever you do have there is a fantastic bargain. But I guess one of the things that people would be wanting to know first is the impact on the community now and forecast from the Porsche and the 4-star hotel and the new Holiday Inn coming. What kind of economic impact are you forecasting?
Well, it's very important to bring people to your communities. Successful cities are cities that are a destination. And so we've locally become the destination for the arts. When it comes to the Porsche driving experience, I think last year's numbers, I haven't heard this year's yet, last year's numbers were over 40,000 unique visitors came to Porsche for that driving experience. And that makes a community a place that people want to go to. And to me, that's part of the buzz, that and the whole the location and the arts initiatives have made Hateville the talk of the metropolitan Atlanta area, and given it the buzz that we need to attract visitors, because with visitors, they bring money with them, and they like to eat in your restaurants and stay in your hotels and enjoy your cities. And I've met people firsthand that I was at a restaurant, the Volare, the other night eating, and I met a couple there from South Georgia that just happened to be here on some training and stopped in and just love the community, love the town, love the feel. And so that's a direct impact on the economy when people come and they spend their money locally. That's huge for us, and that's exactly what we've been trying to create for quite some time, is to have a destination, have a reason for people to come to Hateville.
Well, they have the other reasons too, with the Academy Theater and so forth.
Absolutely.
Dive
right into the arts discussion. Yes, sir.
You have a plan, a master plan, 2025, and I think you've forgotten the name. Plan.
We have
Hateville
we have
2025.
We do. We have a comprehensive plan, and we have Blueprint 2020 plan, and that is, I think, what you're referring to is probably the update to our comprehensive plan.
Can you tell us a little bit of a preview of that, or just a kind of a?
It pretty much just lays out what you how you want your land uses to be in certain areas and where your focuses are based upon your community's desires. The comprehensive plan is a way to engage your citizens in a discussion about the future of your community, to make sure that future land use trends are in conjunction or are aligned with the desires of your citizens. So that plan we completed, I believe, last year. We filed the revised the updated comp plan. So,
are zoning changes pretty difficult to accomplish based with that plan in place, or how does that coincide with zoning requests?
The city is a very business friendly environment. So, if there's a certain need that someone has from a zoning perspective, we try to be as flexible as we can. The main desire that we have is to make sure that our residential areas are protected and that there's a distinct buffer between commercial and residential, because we feel like if you lose the inner neighborhoods in the small town, we'll lose the small town charm if we lose our neighborhoods. So maintaining those designations in those areas and having a clear line of demarcation is extremely important for our future.
I know not every city can say that.
Well, again, we have so little land, we have to do it right, and we have to do it right the first time. So we're very focused on making sure that those residential areas are protected, because that's the heart and soul of our city.
Well, the big topic in commercial real estate today, or one of them at least, is multifamily housing, and because of the fact that you have a shortage of land, really, maybe a multifamily housing would be something that would appeal to you as a mayor.
Yes, we have a fairly 10-year-old multifamily housing right now that has maintained a 80+% occupancy adjacent to the airport over by the Loop Road. It's Aerotropolis. It's changed names a couple of times, but it has been very successful. And our comp plan and our Blueprint 2020 plan shows that we can accommodate some more multifamily housing options. So that's very important for a city of our size, is to maximize that footprint, because it's a way for us to get some good quality product on the ground at affordable, because so many people, younger people, do not want to buy homes anymore. And with the transient nature of people's employment, having multifamily options is extremely important.
Yeah, the millennials are more interested in live, work, and play. I mean, just in terms of outside maintaining a yard.
Absolutely. They like craft beer, and we've got that taken care of.
Yeah. Walk to it.
They like to be able to walk to it, and we've actually enacted, one of our younger council members that was on council previously enacted a ordinance that allows for golf carts in Hateville. So we now have the ability for folks to drive golf carts around town.
You have to have a license, a tag.
Yes,
you
do.
have to have a tag.
You do.
You have
it has to be inspected and everything, but it's nice to have that as an option.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm sitting here with the mayor of Hapeville, and we're getting a pretty good feel for Hapeville now and plans for the future. And if you missed any part of this show, it's on my website, AtlantaCommunityProfiles.com. And so, Alan, you have a pretty comprehensive plan going forward to as much as the next 7 years, I guess. Right? You update that plan every year. And one of the things that is of interest now to a lot of people is low-income housing and multifamily housing. We talked a little bit about multifamily housing, and you have one unit, really, one multifamily building.
One newer multifamily. We have some older multifamily that's available as well. But for a higher end multifamily, we have one new unit. But we have a variety of housing price points within Hateville. So affordable housing is baked into the cake. We definitely have affordable housing available within Hateville.
Yeah, that's. I know some people who might be interested if anything comes on the market because of for a variety of reasons, including everything that you're doing to downtown and what about the one thing that people are interested in is the schools, and they come into the community.
That's correct.
And tell us a little bit about I know it's Fulton County Schools, but
we have elementary school in Hateville Elementary School. We had a presentation from the principal there a couple weeks back at a council meeting, and they're showing their test scores coming up dramatically. So we're seeing some dramatic improvements in that school. We have the 8th grade campus, or the 7th grade campus of the Hateville Charter School, and they're located in Hateville, and their scores have been showing improvements as well. We also have a Montessori school that recently opened on Dogwood Drive, and we have St. John the Evangelist Catholic School, which is a parochial school that's available. So we do have a lot of options for education, and we're a couple of miles from Woodward Academy as well, located in College Park.
So the other thing that people ask, and when you're attracting business, they want to know about the school.
Absolutely.
They want to live near there, and you do have a pretty good recreation department over there as well, and quite a few parks, particularly when relative to your total size.
We do.
In square miles.
We do. Having parkland available is very important to us because it helps create that sense of community. We just did a small pocket park over adjacent to a neighborhood we call Virginia Park, and that's been very, very well received by the community over there because that particular part of town didn't have many park options as much as we do on the north side of Hateville. So.
We don't have a lot of time, but let me ask you some about the millennial population and the appeal that they may have towards it. It seems like that would be a great attraction, your community, to that generation because of all the things that they want seems to be what you offer.
Right. The arts thing, I can't stress that enough, how successful that has been because amongst the millennial age folks, that's a big draw. And I mentioned craft beer. We have a Arches Brewing that's located in Hateville, and they, they've been very successful. And we also have a location that's a growler shop called Beer Girl, and that attracts folks in for meetings and conferences. That people like to go to Arches and rent Arches out for events, and that's created a neat little synergy all its own.
Well, Alan, it's great to have you on the show.
It's a pleasure to be back with you, Lou. It's good to see you.
Thank you for your service to the community, Alan. I know it's low pay, but a lot of hard work. And we appreciate people who are willing to make those kind of contributions like yourself to our community.
And I appreciate you saying that, Lou. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your hard work, and congratulations on a great job that you're doing over there and all the phenomenal improvements that you guys are making to that great city.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Lou.
Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.